Okay, this is the next continuation of lesson 99. Video stopped again, sorry about that. The next one. And we're starting right where we left off on the last video. And this is an equation, and we have to find the LCM, the denominator that everything will go into, and that is 12. And then we canceled out, and we ended up with 2p minus 3, p plus 2, and then that equals 4. So now we don't have any denominators to worry about. Let's go ahead and finish this out. Equals 4, and we end up with 5. No, not 5p. We end up with a negative p, and then we're going to plus 6 here equals 10, but then we don't want our p to be negative, so we have to multiply by a -1 to both sides. We don't want the unknowns ever to be negative. P equals then -10. And that is the answer to number 26. Okay, number 20, I think the next one we were going to do is number 27. Okay, let's do number 27. Number 27. And 27 is negative x to the 0 times y, and then y minus x to the 0, and then minus x squared y to the -1, and they want us to evaluate this equation, and y equals the square root of -64 to the 3rd. So this one here, x will equal a -2, and here y will equal the cubed root of -64 is -4. So we're going to put those numbers in. Well, if we put a -2 in here, we are going to end up with, okay, let's just go ahead and do it. We have a negative here already. So x is -2, so you're going to put in -2 to the 0 power. Your y is going to be -4, okay? Remember your zeros. Okay, then you're going to have this part, y is -4 minus -2 to the 0. This is probably where we're going to have some problems right here, okay? Then minus x squared is going to be in parentheses -2 squared, and y is -4 to the -1. Okay, let me make sure everybody can see this all the way over. Let me turn it a little bit. Okay, oh, we're getting some glare. Okay, I'm going to move this around a little bit here. So maybe you can see it a little better. Just a minute. Get this down. How's that looking? Is that looking a little better? Okay, I think you can. Okay, so now let's simplify it. So this is going to become 1, right? So this will be, you got to drop this negative down. This is going to be -1 times -4. Okay, let's just continue. -4 minus, this is going to be 1. Then we're going to do the minus here. This is going to be 4. And this is going to be -4 on the bottom over 1. Right? You have to drop this down to the denominator, switch it around. Then it's to the first power. Okay, so this gives you a +4. This gives you a -5. This gives you a -1. Right here. This is -1. Drop the minus down, this is negative 1. So we have negative 20 plus 1 equals negative 19. And that is the answer. So you're going to have to be real careful with this one, where you put the negative 2 in here. Where you put the negative 2 in for x, a negative 2 to the 0 power is 1 when it's in parentheses. But this is on the outside, so it's a drop down. So you have to drop it down and make it negative 1. Happens over here too. This is, you put negative 2 in for this one. Here we are, in for this one. So it's a minus, and then it's negative 2 in here. This becomes a 1, and then it's a minus 1 here, making this a minus 5. So you do have to be careful with that one, number 27. Okay, let's do the last one we're going to do, number 28. Number 28. Number 28 is negative 2p squared a squared p minus p squared a all over negative p squared a. What did I say? Number 28, right? And then we are going to, well, what we need to do is you just look at it and you say, God, what can I factor out? That's kind of like one of your very first things you look for. Well, you got a p squared a here, you got a p squared a here. It's negative, you can factor out a negative 1. There's going to be a negative 1 down here, so that's going to work good for us. So we have a negative p squared a squared that we're going to factor out. Let me see if you can see this. Good. Okay, when you factor that out, what are you left with? You're left with 2a for this one, and then you factored out this whole amount here. You're left with a plus 1. Okay, you have to be careful there, because what happens is you pull out the negative here, then you're changing your signs here. So this becomes a 2a because you pulled out the negative p squared a. And this becomes a positive, and that's 1 times this negative. So if you just redistribute and check it, you should get this on the top. Then the bottom stays the same. And then this works out real nice.